In the 1970s, a hospital in Pittsburgh created a cartoon face specifically designed to make children afraid. Not a monster, not a villain, a sticker. They tested it on real kids, again and again, refining every detail. The eyes, the tongue, the exact shade of green, until they found the version that scared children the most. Then they put it on bottles of poison in millions of homes across America. Here's the twist almost nobody knows. Years later, scientists discovered this sticker may have actually made some kids more curious about poison, not less. This is the real story of Mr. Yuck, the warning label built to save your life, that quietly became one of the most debated symbols in public health history. By the end of this video, you'll understand why a children's hospital felt the need to invent an entirely new warning symbol from scratch, how they actually tested it on kids to prove it worked, and why, despite good intentions and real research behind it, the story doesn't end as simply as problem solved. Let's start with the actual crisis that made this sticker necessary in the first place. A quiet crisis. In the 1960s and early 1970s, accidental childhood poisoning is a much bigger problem in American homes than most people today realize. Cleaning products, medications, and household chemicals are often stored within easy reach, under kitchen sinks, on low bathroom shelves, in cabinets a curious toddler can easily pull open, and packaged in ways that don't clearly signal danger to a small child. Bright-colored dish soap can look like juice. Pills in a bottle can look like candy. Poison control centers across the country are fielding enormous numbers of calls every year involving young kids who got into something they shouldn't have. And emergency rooms are treating a steady stream of cases that, in hindsight, should have been entirely preventable. At the time, the standard warning symbol used on dangerous products is the skull and crossbones, the same image used for centuries to mean danger, death. On paper, it seems like the obvious choice for a warning label. It's globally recognized by adults. It's blunt. It's been used on everything from pirate flags to poison bottles for generations, so surely, the thinking goes, everyone already understands exactly what it means. But doctors and poison control staff at Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh start noticing something troubling, both in their own incident data and in direct observation of young patients. The skull and crossbones doesn't actually work the way adults assume it does inside a small child's mind. To a 4 or 5-year-old who's grown up watching cartoons and reading picture books, a skull doesn't automatically register as death. It can look less like genuine danger and more like something out of a pirate story, a Halloween costume, or an adventure cartoon. Genuinely exciting and fun, not frightening at all. When researchers actually show the symbol to young children directly and ask them to describe it, some respond with curiosity or even delight instead of fear or avoidance. For an audience that can't yet read the actual warning text printed underneath the symbol anyway, the entire visual language adults rely on for poison warnings is quietly, invisibly failing at the one job it exists to do: building a better warning. This is where the story gets genuinely interesting, because the response from Pittsburgh isn't simply, let's draw a scarier, more detailed skull. A pharmacist named Wilbert Moore, working closely with the hospital's poison control team, spearheads an effort to design something entirely new from scratch, a symbol built specifically around how young children actually perceive faces, colors, and expressions, rather than how adults simply assume they do based on their own adult intuitions. Instead of guessing at what might work better, the team does something most warning labels at the time never bother to do. They actually test multiple candidate designs directly on children themselves, showing kids a range of different faces, colors, and expressions, and carefully observing and measuring their real reactions. Which specific face makes a small child physically recoil, hesitate, or spontaneously say something like yuck or gross? Which colors reliably register as bad or wrong to a young child's eye, rather than reading as fun, tasty, or simply interesting enough to investigate further? This isn't a marketing team polishing a catchy slogan for adults. It's genuine behavioral research aimed at solving a real, measurable safety problem using actual observed data instead of inherited assumption. The result of all this testing is Mr. Yuck, a bright, almost aggressively green scowling face with its tongue sticking out, deliberately designed not to be frightening in a monster-under-the-bed way, but expressive in a way that reads instantly and near universally to young children as, "This is bad, don't put this near your mouth." Green specifically is chosen over other candidate colors because, unlike red, it doesn't carry mixed or contradictory associations in a child's mind. Red can mean stop and danger, sure, but red is also the color of cherry candy, strawberries, and fire trucks kids love. Green, by contrast, consistently reads across testing as spoiled, sick, or simply wrong, an intuitive, pre-verbal signal that doesn't compete with anything positive in a young child's existing visual vocabulary. Symbol spreads. Mr. Yuck stickers start appearing on medicine cabinets, cleaning product bottles, and household chemicals across Pittsburgh, then spread through poison control programs nationally through the 1970s. The concept is simple, and on paper, brilliant. Pair the sticker with an actual poison control phone number printed directly on it so that even before a child can read, a parent glancing at the bottle in a panic has the emergency number right there. And the visual is memorable enough that kids themselves learn to associate it with "stay away." For years, Mr. Yuck becomes something close to a genuine piece of Americana, appearing in school safety programs, printed on stickers handed out at hospitals and pharmacies, recognized by an entire generation of American kids raised in the 70s, 80s, and into the 90s. It has the kind of cultural footprint that outlasts most public health campaigns by decades. The twist nobody talks about. Here's the part of the story that almost never makes it into the nostalgic retellings. As more rigorous studies on childhood poisoning prevention accumulate over the following decades, researchers start examining whether warning stickers like Mr. Yuck actually reduce poisoning incidents in practice, not just in a testing lab. The findings are genuinely more complicated than anyone expected. Some studies suggest that stickers, including Mr. Yuck, may not meaningfully reduce a child's likelihood of touching or ingesting a product. And in some cases, the bright, distinctive, cartoon-like sticker may actually draw a curious child's attention to the container rather than away from it, precisely because it's colorful and unusual, the exact qualities that make young children curious about objects in general. A sticker designed using genuine behavioral science to repel children may, for some kids in some contexts, function almost like a beacon instead. This doesn't mean the entire effort was a failure, and it's important to sit with that nuance rather than flatten the story into "it backfired completely." Public health researchers today broadly agree that the single most effective way to prevent childhood poisoning isn't any warning label at all, sticker, symbol, or otherwise. It's physical prevention, safety caps, and simply keeping dangerous products out of reach and out of sight entirely. Mr. Yuck was never able to be the whole solution. It was one piece of a larger safety puzzle, and later research simply revealed the limits of what a sticker alone could ever accomplish. Why the story still matters. What makes Mr. Yuck worth telling isn't really a warning label that failed. It's a genuine example of well-intentioned, evidence-based public health work running directly into the messy unpredictability of real child behavior. The doctors and researchers behind it did everything right by the standards of the time. They identified a real problem, rejected an assumption instead of accepting it blindly, tested their solution directly on the population it was meant to protect, and iterated based on data. And it still turned out to be more complicated than expected once it met the real world at scale. That's a pattern worth recognizing far beyond poison control stickers. Good intentions and good research don't automatically guarantee a solution works exactly as designed once millions of unpredictable, curious children actually encounter it in their own kitchens and bathrooms. Closing. Remember how we started this video. A hospital that built a cartoon face specifically engineered to scare children away from danger. That's the real story hiding behind Mr. Yuck. Not a simple success story, and not a simple failure either. A genuine, well-researched attempt to solve a real crisis that taught the public health world something valuable about the limits of warning labels, decades before most of us ever stopped to ask why that grumpy green face was on the bottle under the sink. So next time you come across an old Mr. Yuck sticker, maybe in a childhood photo, maybe still stuck to an old bottle somewhere, remember there's a genuinely fascinating, more complicated story behind that grumpy little face than anyone ever tells you. If you enjoyed uncovering this story, subscribe. Next episode, we're going behind another everyday thing hiding a history nobody tells in full.